Dave Anderson. Let's talk about growth. In this video, we'll use some models you've probably seen before to identify the effects of economic growth. Economic growth is an increase in the maximum possible output of the economy. Remember that the aggregate demand and aggregate supply curves show the demand and supply of all of the goods and services produced in an economy. The vertical axis measures the overall price level in the economy, and the horizontal axis measures real gross domestic product, which is the output of the economy. The long-run aggregate supply curve is vertical at the potential output level, or full employment output level, which is the output level achieved when there is no cyclical unemployment. That is, when there is no unemployment caused by a downturn in the business cycle. The other model we'll use is the production possibilities curve, or frontier, which shows all of the combinations of two goods that can be made using the economy's available resources efficiently. In this example, we'll use two categories of goods: consumer goods such as t-shirts and capital goods such as tractors. If more resources such as capital or labor become available, or if an improvement in technology makes resources more productive, then the economy's maximum possible output increases. This economic growth shifts the production possibilities curve outward, and the economy enjoys a whole new set of possibilities on its expanded curve. At the same time, the economic growth shifts the long-run aggregate supply curve to the right, because the economy's potential output is now at a higher level. With this particular production possibilities curve, we can also examine the trade-offs associated with achieving economic growth. If we operate at a point up here, making mostly consumer goods like t-shirts, consumers get more goods today, but we don't devote many resources to the capital that would help our economy grow in the long run. If instead we operate at a point down here, we don't get as many consumer goods today, but we have a lot of capital with which to make more goods in the future and achieve more economic growth. Economic growth is easy to confuse with increases in output that do not represent economic growth. If we're at a point inside our production possibilities curve, such as here, we're not using all of our available resources efficiently. For example, we might have a lot of unemployment and idle capital and land. We could make more output by making better use of our existing resources and going to a point on the curve. That's an increase in output, but not economic growth, because we haven't increased the maximum possible output of the economy. We've only gotten closer to the same production possibilities curve that existed before. The story of underutilized resources can be told with the aggregate demand and aggregate supply curves as well. If the short-run aggregate supply curve and the aggregate demand curve intersect to the left of the long-run aggregate supply curve, we have a recessionary gap equal to the distance between the current output and the potential output. If an increase in aggregate demand increases the equilibrium output level, that is not economic growth because the potential output level has not changed. To summarize, economic growth isn't achieved with an increase in aggregate demand, but it can be achieved in the long run with an increase in resources or technology that shifts the production possibilities curve outward and shifts the long-run aggregate supply curve to the right. Now let's get some growth down here. Oh no.